Chapter 1591, Plunder and Development. Chapter 1591, Plunder and Development. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Boom. Fong Yuan waved his sleeves, black smoke spread out to the surroundings. He had used Soul Explosion. This was a rank 7 peak method. It immediately destroyed the core of the immortal formation on Cloud Bamboo Mountain range that Qi clan had created with ease. Rumble. There was another explosion as the formation's core broke apart. The other areas of the immortal formation also collapsed. At this point, the entire mountain range's formation was destroyed. They left after all. Looking at the empty place, Fong Yuan's gaze was dark and unsurprised at all. His attack on the formation earlier was met with great resistance that was quite skillful. But later on, Fong Yuan noticed that the immortal formation was getting more slow in reacting to his actions. Immortal formations and immortal Gu houses needed people to manipulate them. Even wills or formation spirits left behind could not replace the use of a Gu immortal. Oh. An immortal Gu was destroyed here. Fong Yuan soon noticed a special aura. He confirmed quickly that there was an incomplete immortal Gu here. Qi clan's Gu immortals had destroyed it before leaving. Fong Yuan sighed in pity, but he admired their resolution. He would have done the same thing. There was nothing valuable at the core area. Fong Yuan flew into the sky and started to ransack Cloud Bamboo Mountain range. Cloud Bamboo Mountain range had a large number of cloud path lifeforms. Like the cloud fox. Fong Yuan used an enslavement path method as orange-yellow light burst out of his bodice, shrouding all the surroundings. Within the light, cloud foxes and other lifeforms struggled intensely. They had a painful expression as they growled. But soon, their resistance weakened as they stopped moving. They stayed on the spot as they became Fong Yuan's enslaved beasts. Fong Yuan opened his immortal aperture door as these lifeforms gathered and went into sovereign immortal aperture like a flowing river. Fong Yuan continued his actions as a large number of lifeforms entered his immortal aperture. Suddenly, there was a sudden sound as two desolate beast cloud foxes emerged, running towards the outside of the mountain in a panic. Come back. Fong Yuan laughed, flying as he chased them, using his enslavement path killer move to make these two desolate beast cloud foxes sprawl and admit him as their master. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was a huge large-sized resource point. It was filled with dense Dao marks. It was normal for desolate beasts and plants to grow here. Even ancient desolate beasts could grow. Immortal Gu were rarer. There was one, but it was destroyed before it could form. After Fong Yuan finished his exploration, he obtained 7 desolate beast cloud foxes, a total of 11 desolate plants of 3 species, cloud chi root, white hair root, and spear tip bamboo. The thing that made Fong Yuan the happiest was the quantity of a rank 7 immortal material, cloud soil. It was huge. However, he did not see any ancient desolate beasts or ancient desolate plants. The Gu immortals guarding this place must have brought them away, or maybe they never existed. According to the laws of nature, there was a possibility of ancient desolate beasts or plants appearing here. But this place was governed by Qi clan for countless years. They were skilled at formation path but lacked enslavement path expertise. They would not allow an uncontrollable ancient desolate beast that could rival rank 7 Gu immortals to stay in their territory. Fong Yuan did not mind it. He continued to search the entire mountain for spear-tip bamboos. These spear-tip bamboos were ordinary Gu materials. The desolate plant spear-tip bamboos had already been completely taken by Fong Yuan. But it was quite troublesome now. Fong Yuan had rich enslavement path methods, but he could not use many wood path methods due to his lack of wood path immortal Gu. I need an appropriate wood path method to relocate these spear-tip bamboos. Fong Yuan sighed. If he wanted to move these spear-tip bamboos, he would need delicate wood path methods. Methods of other paths would carve different Dao marks on these bamboos. Even temporary ones would damage the spear-tip bamboos and reduce their quality. Actually, Spectral Soul's true inheritance had lots of wood path methods, but Fong Yuan did not have the necessary wood path immortal Gu. Thus, he could only use mortal methods to take these spear-tip bamboos. But this lowered his efficiency greatly, far worse than immortal killer moves. And this Cloud Bamboo Mountain range was huge. The amount of spear-tip bamboos that Fang Yuan had taken were still very insignificant. A pity that pulling Mountain Immortal Gu is only rank 6, even though it can pull mountains, it cannot move the entire mountain range. In the past, Fang Yuan had pulled up Dang Hun Mountain and Luo Pa Valley, but it was because these two secluded domains of heaven and earth was modified by Spectral Soul Demon Venerable using the killer move Orderly Well. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range did not have such a treatment. Of course, Fang Yuan could smash the mountain range, but the results from that would not be under his control. Trees had tree roots, mountains had mountain roots. Unless he had an appropriate earth path method, he could not preserve these mountain roots. What? Fang Yuan is attacking Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Qi Chuyu's frowned deeply. He had a grim expression. He was the first supreme elder of Qi clan. Information had gotten to him at the very first moment. The contact Heart River Bank earlier was a middle-sized resource point. The losses were not too big. But Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was a large resource point. In the past, our clan paid a hefty price to invite an Earth Path great expert to move the mountain veins and develop Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range, only forming scale similar to today after 100 years. To think that it would be targeted now. Qi clan was a super force. It had many large resource points, but Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was quite a unique one. Back when Qi clan was still in its infancy period, Qi clan's ancestors had scrimped and saved when they were weak to slowly develop it. In Qi clan's history, this Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range provided Qi clan a steady source of income over time and did not disappoint its initial creators. After generations of hard work, the clan got stronger and its territory expanded continuously. Even though they had many large resource points now, and Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range became less important, it was never neglected. It was always guarded by two Gu immortals. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was not just a resource point, it was a form of mental encouragement to Qi clan's members. Forget about other large resource points, but Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range cannot be destroyed. Mobilize the Immortal Gu House, find Fang Yuan and take back Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Qi Chuyu thought about it for a moment before ordering with a firm tone. What about you, First Supreme Elder? Qi clan's Gu Immortal asked. Qi Chuyu snorted. Fang Yuan seems to know that I am here. His true motive is to take the dream realms here. I will stay guard here. He will definitely come again. Of course, you all must put up a facade that I am going to find him personally. Thus, Qi clan moved its Immortal Gu House and went to Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Fang Yuan had not left yet. He was still collecting spear-tip bamboos. This bamboo had very deep roots of 50 to 60 feet. Specific methods were needed to relocate them into his immortal aperture without any damage. Qi clan's Gu immortals saw Fang Yuan and hesitated. This was Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. If they fought against Fang Yuan here without any immortal formation's protection, Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range might get destroyed. Immortal Killer Move, Great Thief Ghost Hand. Fang Yuan was already prepared. His Great Thief Ghost Hand had been lurking for a while. It directly targeted Qi clan's Immortal Gu House. Inside Sovereign Immortal Aperture. At the northmost end of mini northern plains, snow was falling as frost energy permeated. The snowmen had traveled for a long time. They finally arrived at their destination. The cold weather made the snowmen reveal smiles of joy. This is a good place for us to live. This place is so huge, we will not have to crowd around like before. Thanks to Great Immortal Bingzhua's guidance. Sob sob sob. Some elderly snowmen were already kneeling on the ground, sobbing profusely. Quickly look. Someone shouted. The snowmen raised their heads and saw a scene they would never forget. The huge blizzard suddenly stopped as three huge crystal mountains appeared from within the fog. Gu Immortal Bingzhua floated in the air as he nodded at them, before the fog gathered and concealed the three mountains again. It's Great Immortal Bingzhua. This is the home that Great Immortal has guided us to, Triple Sacred Mountain. It seems that the immortals of our tribe live on Triple Sacred Mountain. The snowmen were very excited, they knelt down and prayed towards the direction of Triple Sacred Mountain. They did not know that, great immortal Bingjua, concealed by the fog, turned back into a stranger. He was Fong Yuan's time path clone. Food, environment, and plants, they are all set up already. Even though the environment is plain, it is enough for them to live. At this point, the snowman relocation is finally completed. The time path clone nodded lightly as he controlled the snow crystal formation, looking at another area. Over there, a group of snow monsters emerged from the snow, looking around curiously as they moved around. Not bad, under the effect of the snow crystal formation, snow monsters are forming too. This snow monster production line is starting to work. In time, it will bring me huge profits. After leaving Mini Northern Plains, the time path clone arrived at Mini Central Continent. Not long ago, he had set up a river bank here. He directly copied the name of Contact Heart River Bank. On the river bank, there were countless white round rocks of varying sizes. There was a river with flowing water. Contact Heart Gu lived inside it. Fong Yuan obtained a large number of Contact Heart Gu. He sold most of them in Treasure Yellow Heaven. The remaining river water, rocks, and a small number of Contact Heart Gu were left as seeds. In time, he could develop this into a source of revenue too. The time path clone flew again, towards the southeast of Contact Heart River Bank. He only stopped after a while. It was a barren land without any lifeforms. Time path clone started to plant spear-tip bamboos here while releasing the cloud foxes and other beasts. There was no mountain range here, but Fong Yuan planned to start building a cloud bamboo forest here. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1592, Number 9 in the World, Great Space Temple. Chapter 1592, Number 9 in the World, Great Space Temple. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Southern Border. Fong Yuan broke into Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range and scavenged it, but he knew about the significance of this resource point. He was ready for Qi Clan's counterattack. Immortal Killer Move, Great Thief Ghost Hand. His Great Thief Ghost Hand that had been lurking for a while directly targeted Qi Clan's Immortal Gu house. The Qi Clan Gu immortals in the Immortal Gu house were shocked. But immediately, the Immortal Gu house's surface shined with a dazzling golden light. The surface of the Immortal Gu house had ripples that formed into a spiral, absorbing Great Thief Ghost Hand into it. At the next moment, the spiral vanished without a trace. Fong Yuan grunted as he lost his connection to Great Thief Ghost Hand. Bright light shined in his eyes for a moment, as expected of one of the top 10 Immortal Gu houses, Great Space Temple. Qi Clan had 2 Immortal Gu houses. They were both extraordinary. Great Space Temple was the stronger one, able to resist rank 8 Gu immortals. From the outside, it looked like it was made of marble. It was pure white and round. There were golden accents on it. It radiated with sunlight and was extremely grand, giving people a feeling of warmth and hope. In the 500 years of Fong Yuan's previous life, during the 5 regions' chaotic war, all the different forces competed with each other as the world went into chaos. Immortal Gu houses were mobilized often and fought against each other. With ample battles, people started to learn of the strength of different Immortal Gu houses. They were able to create a ranking list for the Immortal Gu houses. Qi Clan's Great Space Temple was ranked 9th on this list. It was not simple. It had one move called Moving Space Domain. It could trap rank 8 Gu immortals. When Heavenly Court attacked Southern Border, this Immortal Gu house trapped 4 rank 7s and 2 rank 8s. It had an extremely incredible use in that battle. I'm afraid that Great Thief Ghost Hand is trapped inside Moving Space Domain. That's how I lost contact with it. But the usage of Moving Space Domain has a huge price. It needs time for preparation. How did they respond so quickly? They seem very prepared. Fong Yuan's thoughts moved rapidly in his mind. He quickly saw a problem. There really was such a theft path method. Demon Fong Yuan is getting harder to deal with. thankfully we were amply prepared. We only made it in time due to Heavenly Court's intel. If he really succeeded in stealing the immortal Gu of this immortal Gu house, what would happen? Qi Clan's Gu immortals felt deep after fear and relief. Kill. Prepare moving space domain for Demon Fong Yuan's theft path method. But we need to be careful, this Demon Fong Yuan has a defensive killer move made using reverse flow river. Rumble. Under the Qi Clan Gu Immortals manipulation, Rank 8 Immortal Gu House Great Space Temple erupted with fearsome might, quickly suppressing Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan retreated while his mind entered Treasure Yellow Heaven. At the next moment, his heart shook. Like he had expected, Heavenly Court had placed a clip in Treasure Yellow Heaven, showing the fight scene earlier. His usage of Great Thief Ghost Hand against Feng Jiugu was also exposed. Not just that, Heavenly Court also released a lot of deduction results that were free for everyone to view. These deductions were all about Fong Yuan, they were exposing his secrets. In Treasure Yellow Heaven, there were lots of commotion. The Gu Immortals in the 5 regions were very shocked, they were discussing his methods and Gu worms, they felt deep envy and jealousy towards Fong Yuan's resources. This was a huge blow. Intel of Gu Immortals was usually very crucial. In most cases, once immortal Gu and killer moves were exposed, they would be easily countered by others. Like now, not only did Qi Clan defend against Great Thief Ghost Hand, they even trapped it inside moving space domain. They were going to research on this Great Thief Ghost Hand and trace it back to the source, exposing more weaknesses of this move. If they were not guarded and Fong Yuan succeeded, he might be able to steal a few immortal Gu and earn a fortune, and even gain an advantage. Fong Yuan had used Treasure Yellow Heaven to show himself thrashing Thunder Ghost True Monarch, and it deeply affected Heavenly Court's prestige. They were merely giving him a taste of his own medicine now, dealing with Fong Yuan using the same method. I have Great Thief Ghost Hand, Fairy Z Wei must be very worried that I would use this move to steal more immortal Gu and strengthen myself. Since she could distract herself to do this, I'm afraid Langya Blessed Land's battle has ended. Fong Yuan's heart shook. He wanted Heavenly Court and Longevity Heaven to fight to the death, it was best if Langya Blessed Land got destroyed. But both sides were very smart, they would not do something so stupid. I'm afraid that Heavenly Court took the initiative to retreat. After all, in order to deal with Langya Blessed Land, Fairy Z Wei, Chen Yi and the rest were all injured to some degree. Feng Jiugu had lost his battle strength after fighting me, Thunder Ghost True Monarch died from battle, while Longevity Heaven has Langya Land's spirits help, they have the absolute advantage. Another thing Fong Yuan noticed was that Prince Feng Xian's traitor identity was not exposed yet. Prince Feng Xian might possibly be hiding near Loose Tail Ridge, waiting for a chance. It seems that Heavenly Court is very prepared, even without Prince Feng Xian, they managed to escape. Fong Yuan was not foolish enough to expose Prince Feng Xian's identity in advance. Heavenly Court knew that Fong Yuan was an otherworldly demon that had reborn, but they did not know that Prince Feng Xian's identity was already known to Fong Yuan. Right now, I have no evidence to testify against Prince Feng Xian. Actually, even if I have solid evidence, Prince Feng Xian is still a rank 8 Gu immortal, Longevity Heaven will have a tough time dealing with him, if they do not prepare amply, he might even escape. Fong Yuan had to make good use of this, he might be able to reap great benefits in the future. Using it now would just be venting his anger, a successful person would have deep tolerance, how could he be swayed by emotions and act foolishly? However, I cannot let all of you off either. Fong Yuan sneered, he immediately sent a video clip into Treasure Yellow Heaven. This video recorded Heavenly Court using Starcast and sending multiple rank 8 Gu immortals into Langya Blessed Land. It was like a huge rock tossed into a lake, it created huge ripples and waves. Heavenly Court had such a method. It was like Fong Yuan's fixed immortal travel, the incredibly useful effect could influence important battles. Other than Central Continent, the Gu immortals of the other 4 regions and leaders of super forces felt greatly shocked, their alertness towards Heavenly Court rose to an incredible degree. Goodbye. Fong Yuan smiled as he waved at Great Space Temple. At the next moment, he used the opportunity to activate Fixed Immortal Travel, escaping successfully. Rank 7 Fixed Immortal Travel was too useful. Great Space Temple was not an immortal battlefield. Even if it contained an immortal battlefield killer move, Fong Yuan would not let himself be trapped easily. Even if he was trapped, many immortal battlefields could not contain Fixed Immortal Travel. Unless it was an incredible method or countered Fixed Immortal Travel, Fong Yuan then would be in trouble when he gets trapped. At the next moment, jade light flickered as Fong Yuan arrived at Qi Clan's third resource point. Windflame Mountain. This mountain had countless sunset parasol trees, the leaves were red like fire. There were many birds and barely any land beasts. A small number of fire phoenixes were resting inside the parasol forest. Sensing Fong Yuan's animosity, these phoenixes raised their heads and looked at Fong Yuan fearlessly. They had an aura of indomitability. This giant resource point was rare even for super forces. It was one of Qi Clan's most important sources of revenue. Demon Fong Yuan is here. A rank 7 from Qi Clan was here. They first activated the defensive immortal formation before reporting to the clan, seeking reinforcements. If I can take down this resource point, Qi Clan would really feel heartache. Hee hee. Fong Yuan laughed coldly as he charged down and crashed like a meteor. With an intense explosion, the immortal formation remained unmoved. Giant resource points had far greater defenses compared to middle and large resource points. Fong Yuan stopped his movement as his gaze flickered with uncertainty. He rapidly deduced in his mind while using countless killer moves like they were cheap fireworks. Scoundrel Fong Yuan, you are so devious. After receiving news of this, Qi Chuyu was extremely furious. He could no longer stay. He left and went to reinforce the resource point. Windflame Mountain was quite a unique resource point. Other than raising phoenixes, at a certain timing each year, many wild phoenixes would come here and lay eggs. If something happened to Windflame Mountain, the wild phoenixes might choose other locations. Qi Clan would suffer great losses. But Windflame Mountain was very far from Cloud Bamboo Mountain range. Qi Chuyu was the closest to it. Even though this Qi Clan first Supreme Elder had already set up the formation in Plunder Shadow Earth Trench, he had to give up on that plan and save his resource point from Fong Yuan. When he arrived, Fong Yuan had already broken up more than half of the formation of Windflame Mountain. Many ancient phoenixes also died. Fong Yuan even captured 3. Fong Yuan, you scoundrel, don't run if you have the guts. Qi Chuyu screamed in anger. Fong Yuan smiled lightly as he greeted politely, Senior Qi Chuyu, we finally meet. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1593, Transaction. Chapter 1593, Transaction. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. You want to meet me so urgently, it seems you really want to die. Qi Chuyu snickered. First Supreme Elder is here, I'm saved. The Qi Clan Gu Immortal defending Windflame Mountain felt great ease as he shouted. I waited specially for you. Are you interested in the dream path results that I have? Fong Yuan suddenly transmitted in secret. Qi Chuyu was slightly dazed. At the next moment, Fong Yuan pointed with his finger as Immortal Battlefield Killer move Yama Battlefield formed and trapped Qi Chuyu in it. Qi Chuyu was slightly shocked but he soon calmed down. He even looked around the battlefield calmly. This is the battlefield that trapped Feng Jiugu? Fong Yuan laughed loudly. Senior Qi wants to say, is this the immortal battlefield that Fairy Zi Wei broke? Heavenly Court not only exposed Fong Yuan's great thief ghost hand in Treasure Yellow Heaven, they even released their understanding of Yama Battlefield and even the way to break it publicly. Thus, with this information, Qi Chuyu was not worried. He was not even anxious at all. As a formation path great grandmaster, he could defend himself inside Yama Battlefield. Meanwhile, Fong Yuan had limited time. If the righteous path Gu immortals could encircle him, he would be in trouble. There were no invincible Gu in this world, only invincible Gu immortals. Fixed immortal travel could be countered in many ways. Compared to that, Qi Chuyu's bigger headache was that after Fang Yuan leaves, he would continue targeting Qi Clan's resource points. That was a huge problem. Take a look, Senior Qi. Fang Yuan tossed an information path mortal Gu over. Qi Chuyu took a look. It was truly an information path mortal Gu. He looked into it and his gaze flickered. This information path mortal Gu recorded details about the formation that Qi Clan had set up on Windflame Mountain. As a formation path grandmaster who had the light of wisdom, it was not hard to make such deductions. Qi Chuyu instantly understood Fang Yuan's intention. According to the info in this information path mortal Gu, Fang Yuan could totally destroy the immortal formation on Windflame Mountain, but he purposely chose not to and waited for Qi Chuyu's arrival. Qi Chuyu nodded. You are indeed a genius, your formation path attainment is so high, no wonder Qi Shang acknowledged you. Formation devotee Qi Shang was a rising star of Qi Clan. He was recognized by Qi Chuyu as a future formation path great grandmaster. Earlier, Fang Yuan disguised as Wu Yi-hai and interacted with him. They built a good relationship. When Fang Yuan got exposed and was pursued by everyone, Qi Shang publicly announced that he was an enemy of Fang Yuan, putting a clear line between them. Fang Yuan laughed loudly before looking at Qi Chuyu solemnly. What if I told Senior that my formation path attainment level was obtained from the dream realm? What do you think? Oh. Is that true? Qi Chuyu was moved. He assessed Fang Yuan again as he said with a questioning tone, You really want to transact with me? Fang Yuan retorted, Why not? I need dream realms, but Southern Border's dream realms have defensive formations made by Qi Clan. I want to use dream path gains to exchange for Qi Clan's cooperation. To display my sincerity, I want you to see this. Fang Yuan tossed out another information path mortal Gu. Qi Chuyu received it and his gaze flickered. He unconsciously grasped the information path mortal Gu in his hand, as if afraid that it would fly off. Information regarding Dream Path had an incredible attraction to Qi Chuyu. He quickly looked into it. When he raised his head, he looked at Fang Yuan with a different expression. As expected of the one who used Spring-Autumn Cicada to rebirth and had inherited Shadow Sect, the amount of Dream Path information that he is willing to release already far exceeds the total amount of research our Southern Border's Righteous Path has done. Furthermore, this is only a small part of the information. A lot of things are missing, there is even some vague content not explained in detail. Thinking of this, Qi Chuyu was deeply moved. He had to be moved. Fang Yuan's bait was simply too attractive to him. Currently, the Gu Immortal world agreed that Dream Path would be greatly developed in the future. Not only would Dream Path be created, it would prosper and create great Dream Immortal Venerable. Thus, be it super forces or rank 8 Gu Immortals, they knew the importance of Dream Path. They explored dream realms and tried to advance further in this path than anyone else. Whoever gave up on pursuing Dream Path would be left behind by this upcoming great era. It was like how Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable created Theft Path, Reckless Savage Demon Venerable created Transformation Path, Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable created Qi Path. In the long history of humanity, countless experiences had proven this point. However, the start was the most difficult. Dream Path was only a concept now. No matter who explored it, they would have to pay a huge price with little gains. Because he knew this, Qi Chuyu understood that this information path Mortal Gu was extremely valuable. If it was revealed to the outside world, all the super forces would fight for it. Even if they had to fight until blood flowed into a river, they would do it without hesitation. Qi Chuyu caressed the information path Mortal Gu in his hand as he looked at Fang Yuan with a sharp gaze. I can see your sincerity, but there are many Southern Border Righteous Path forces. Why did you choose me? Fang Yuan laughed heartily. I have interacted with Qi Shang before. I also have Shadow Sects and Wu Clan's information. I know a lot about Qi Clan. Qi Bang is your son, but he lacks the ability to become the first Supreme Elder. That was why you needed Qi Shang, the future Formation Path Great Grandmaster, to help him. Senior Qi, you have limited lifespan. When you die and chaos starts, can Qi Bang protect Qi Clan? You. Qi Chuyu's expression turned dark, killing intent leaked out of him, but Fang Yuan was completely ignoring it. Qi Chuyu had no choice but to admit Fang Yuan was right. Southern Border's earth veins were shaking. Such situations occurred in the other 4 regions too. A person at Qi Chuyu's level could also sense the chaos of the future. Qi Chuyu had already used many lifespan extension methods. Lifespan Gu were not effective on him anymore. He had already started preparing long ago, for the sake of his son's succession. Even though he knew that Qi Bang lacked talent, as a father, he had his selfish side. But he could not be selfish entirely. If Qi clan was destroyed in Qi Bang's hands, even if Qi Chuyu died, he would not rest in peace. And if Qi clan was destroyed, would Qi Bang be safe? Therefore, Qi clan needed Fang Yuan's dream path gains. With this, Qi clan would be able to protect itself in the future. It would also ride the tide of the Great Era and become an even stronger superforce. Ha ha ha. Qi Chuyu suddenly laughed loudly as if his killing intent never existed. He looked at Fang Yuan and shook his head. Fang Yuan, you are truly the #1 demonic figure of the 5 regions. I have finally seen your true abilities today. No wonder Heavenly Court and Wu clan were helpless against you. I will accept this transaction. Fang Yuan nodded. Qi Chuyu's response was within his expectations. There was nothing peculiar. Qi Chuyu was the leader of a righteous path force, while Fang Yuan was a demon that everyone was after. How could they make a deal? This seemed quite unthinkable. But actually, for the terms righteous path and demonic path, everyone had their own understanding of it. The central thing that mattered were benefits, be it righteous path or not. Look at Qi clan, it had so many resource points. It had to promote the advantage of the righteous path, that evil cannot defeat righteousness, so that they had the moral high ground to defend their territory and attain stability. As for demonic path Gu immortals, they had to deal with calamities and tribulations. They needed to become stronger, and that needed resources. But what to do when they had no resources? The only way was to rob and steal, to kill and loot. It was all for gains and benefits. Precisely because of this central reasoning, why would Qi Chuyu not agree to Fang Yuan's deal? They were just getting what they needed, for their respective benefits. The talk was done. Fang Yuan dispelled the immortal battlefield and acted like he was forced to retreat in a panic. Qi Chuyu won, but Fang Yuan managed to escape. His expression was quite ugly. For the following days, he defended cautiously, preventing Fang Yuan's retaliation from coming. 7 days later, Fang Yuan suddenly appeared in Plunder's Shadow Earth Trench, breaking the formation and successfully taking the Dream Realm. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1594, Righteous Path Schemes Against Fang Yuan. Chapter 1594, Righteous Path Schemes Against Fang Yuan. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. We need to get rid of Fang Yuan. He dared to attack our Righteous Path's formation openly. He is too daring. Luo clan's first supreme elder screamed. This time, our clan's Gu immortal was sacrificed heroically. This demon Fang Yuan already has the blood of 2 Gu immortals on his hands. He needs to pay the price. Ho clan's first supreme elder said in an aged tone, filled with rage. Yao clan's first supreme elder sighed. Fang Yuan needs to be dealt with, but he is not an ordinary demonic path Gu immortal. His identity is very complex. He not only is an otherworldly demon, he also has Spring-Autumn Cicada and has returned from the future. He destroyed 88 True Yong building and has Giant Sun's true inheritance. He also inherited Spectral Soul true inheritance and became the leader of Shadow Sect, as well as the funding of Langya Blessed Land. Even with Central Continent Heavenly Court's pursuit, he still remained scot-free. He continued to harm the world while getting stronger at a rapid rate, far beyond logic. To speak the truth, he has the demeanor of a demon venerable in his youth. Humph. There will only be Great Dream Immortal Venerable in the future. There will not be a Great Dream Demon Venerable. Yao clan, are you afraid? Xia clan's first supreme elder immediately said sarcastically. Yao clan's first supreme elder snickered, I'm just stating the truth. If we want to kill Fang Yuan, we need to recognize this truth. Like how your Xia clan lost to my Yao clan earlier. Xia clan's first supreme elder was incredibly furious. Recently, due to the turbulence of the earth veins, large amounts of cultivation resources were unearthed from underground. Southern Border's righteous path, demonic path, and lone cultivators competed for them. During this period, lots of conflict was natural. Xia clan had fallen into an ambush by Yao clan and lost, but Yao clan paid a huge price too. Therefore, their conversation was very hostile. Alright, our discussion is not for bickering, we need to plan on how to deal with Fang Yuan. If he continues his plunder, what will we do? At this time, Shang clan's first supreme elder spoke in a moderate tone. There was silence. Shang clan had always been neutral and was specialized in trading with all the different forces. When Shang clan's first supreme elder spoke, everyone had to listen. A while later, Ba clan's first supreme elder broke the silence. Fang Yuan must have ways to explore dream realms and obtain great benefits. Otherwise, why would he impersonate Wu Yi back then to get into our righteous path? This time, he attacked Plunder Shadow Earth Trench and took all the dream realms away. This proves my point. I wonder what Wu clan's first supreme elder has to say about this. Wu clan's first supreme elder was naturally none other than Wu Yi's elder brother, Wu Yong. Wu clan has already dominated the #1 spot in the righteous path. Ba clan had been after their position, but Wu Yong showed up with clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building, destroying Ba clan's hope of replacing them as they solidified their status. Ba clan would not let this chance go now. Wu Yong was silent for a while before speaking. Fang Yuan is an enemy of everyone. Yesterday, he plundered Qi clan's resources. Tomorrow, he might show up anywhere else. Our resources and even clansmen might be targeted by him. Wu Yong said plainly that dealing with Fang Yuan was the responsibility of all the Southern Border Righteous Path members. Ba clan and others could not make Wu clan take on this role and exert great effort alone. Hearing Wu Yong's words, many people frowned. Wu Duxiu and Wu Yong were vastly different. If this was Wu Duxiu, she would charge ahead as the vanguard. That was the style of Wu clan. But Wu Yong stepped back this time. It was as if the humiliation that Fang Yuan gave to Wu clan earlier did not exist. Ba clan's first supreme elder was not going to let Wu Yong off. He added, the reason why Fang Yuan is a problem to deal with is because he has fixed immortal travel. I wonder if Wu clan's first supreme elder has any good method to restrict fixed immortal travel. Wu Yong smiled bitterly. I am ashamed, Wu clan does not have such methods. I cannot compare to my mother. We can defend ourselves, but that is our limit. In my opinion, Qi clan's first supreme elder set up effective immortal formations earlier. Even though Fang Yuan broke through, he still spent quite some time. Why doesn't Qi clan's first supreme elder help us to set up immortal formations around our resource points, so that we can stall for some time when Fang Yuan attacks? Qi clan's first supreme elder Qi Chuyu quickly waved his hand. I am ashamed. My immortal formations were all destroyed by Fang Yuan. I will disappoint all of you. Wu Yong smiled. No need to be so humble. Fang Yuan did not manage to destroy the formation on Windflame Mountain. The immortal formation set up in Plunder Shadow Earth Trench also blocked Fang Yuan's assault once. But his formation path attainment level is too high. He was friends with your clan's formation devotee Qi Shang, we all know that. Wu Yong's words had deep meaning. Qi Chuyu snorted coldly. He remained silent. Southern Border super forces had all sorts of resource points. If Qi Chuyu had to set up immortal formations one by one, when would he finish? And most importantly, this matter was very sensitive. Resource points were the most important areas of the different clans. They would not feel easy if outsiders were the ones setting up their defenses. Among the clans here, only Qi clan had been plundered. Without experiencing it for themselves, the other clans did not feel an urge to ask for Qi Chuyu's help. Qi Chuyu understood this, which was why he stopped talking. Wu Yong saw that Qi Chuyu was silent. He could not say anything else. At this moment, Tai clan's first supreme elder said excitedly, actually, Wu clan first supreme elder's method is the best way to deal with Fang Yuan, but that is only half of it. Qi Clan's first Supreme Elder's immortal formations can block Fang Yuan for some time. At this time, if there is our Tai Clan's beacon tower, we would be able to teleport there and block Fang Yuan, to kill him together. With the combination of both methods, Fang Yuan is not a problem at all. Once he said that, the Gu immortals became even quieter. Beacon Tower was an immortal Gu house of Tai Clan. Its greatest use was similar to Western Desert Shao Clan's 10,000 Li Silk Corridor. This Gu house was made of multiple beacon towers. They could transport Gu immortals to each other. If many beacon towers were put together, they could even transport rank 8 Gu immortals. Tai Clan First Supreme Elder's idea was not wrong. In fact, Tai Clan had been trying to set up more beacon towers around southern border. But this arrangement was too much of a threat to the other super forces. Thus, the forces had been trying to stop Tai Clan from creating more beacon towers. And now, Tai Clan's first Supreme Elder used this chance to promote the beacon towers again. The leaders of the different clans did not agree, they only kept silent, showing their resistance to it. I have another plan. A long while later, Shang Clan's first Supreme Elder spoke. After 15 minutes, the discussion between these southern border righteous path leaders concluded. Under the moonlight, Qi Chuyu stopped using his killer move. He flew in the sky while riding a thick cloud, having an eerie gaze. Southern Border's Gu immortal world was full of conflicts between major forces to begin with. During this period, the earth veins shook. While it gave great benefits, it also intensified the conflict between forces. This made the super forces more hostile to each other. Other than scheming against each other, just look at this time when Fang Yuan attacked Qi Clan's resource points. Not a single force helped them out. After flying for some time, Qi Chuyu's vision changed. He ended up in an immortal battlefield. He was not nervous, because this was Yama battlefield. He had already set up a meeting time with Fang Yuan. These are yours. Fang Yuan tossed out multiple pure dream reality seeker physique bodies and an information path mortal Gu. Where are my things? I brought them. Qi Chuyu took out a large number of immortal essence stones and immortal materials of all kinds. There was also one information path mortal Gu. An information path inheritance was recorded in it. Both sides inspected the goods and traded successfully before parting. Qi Chuyu frowned lightly while Fang Yuan smiled. Qi Clan's first Supreme Elder, in the future, I will transact with you again. Before leaving, Fang Yuan transmitted. How will you contact me? You will know by then. Both sides quickly left the place. They were extremely alert. Nobody found out about this transaction. The information in this Gu worm is not complete. I can see that Fang Yuan still has a lot of dream path research results. But what I obtained this time has already far exceeded the other super forces of southern border. Qi Chuyu looked at the dream realms in his immortal aperture as he sighed deeply. Thinking of Fang Yuan, his gaze turned dark. Fang Yuan is a scoundrel. He obviously wants to cooperate with me again. After all, he wants to know about Tian Mountain's formation. I should work with him now and obtain more dream path research results. I will use southern border's righteous path in the future to eliminate him afterwards. The transaction between Qi Chuyu and Fang Yuan was merely for benefits. His intention to take down Fang Yuan now was also for benefits. After all, if Fang Yuan sold these dream path research results to other super forces, Qi Clan's advantage would be lost, their benefits would be greatly affected. Even though I gave Qi Clan a few dream realms this time, I have already obtained a lot of time path dream realms. I am going to cultivate now and raise my time path attainment level. Fang Yuan was thinking and planning. Qi Clan had obtained dream path methods. They naturally needed more dream realms to explore. Even though Tian Mountain had a huge dream realm, they could not explore it under everyone's watchful gaze. That was too risky. Fang Yuan wanted to encourage these transactions, but he did not want Qi Clan to be exposed either. This time, I succeeded in invading Plunder Shadow Earth Trench. Southern Border's righteous path must be plotting against me. Even though fixed immortal travel is good, it can be countered. Let alone the foundation of Southern Border's righteous path. Close connections between Wu Yong and Heavenly Court will make sure they help out as well. I should lay low now. The truth was, Fang Yuan could use the Dream Path research results to find any super force and become allies with them to undergo transactions. But Fang Yuan chose Qi clan. There were reasons behind it. The most important reason was that during the chaotic period of his previous life, Qi clan was a firm force in resisting Heavenly Court. In his previous life, Wu clan was the same, but because Wu Yong managed to take back many immortal Gu from southern borders righteous path this time, Fang Yuan thought about it and could not trust them. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1595, Water Text Gu. Chapter 1595, Water Text Gu. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. The moon was bright outside the window, while a faint candle lighted the room. Wu Yong paced around in his room. He felt worry and frustration in his heart. He could not let it go. Right now, Wu Yong had rank 8 cultivation level, he had supreme authority in Wu clan, he used clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building to help Wu clan get through tough times. He even got back the southern border righteous path's immortal Gu from Heavenly Court, his reputation was at its peak. During this period, he had worked hard to nurture some Gu immortal seeds. Wu clan was doing very well. Why was he so worried now? Fang Yuan. Disguising as Wu Yi, he even deceived Wu Yong, managing to take away lots of resources and even immortal Gu. Not only did he toy around with Wu clan, even Wu Yong's pursuit saw no results. Fang Yuan was like a thorn in his heart. Whenever Wu Yong thought about it, he would feel heartache, humiliation, anger, and hatred. This time, Fang Yuan suddenly appeared in southern border, destroying Plunder Shadow Earth Trenches formation and taking the Dream Realms. Wu Yong seemed very calm and composed now, but his heart was bleeding from this thorn that stabbed deeply into his wound. Shan Clan First Supreme Elder's method can target Fang Yuan's fixed immortal travel, but Wu Yong frowned as he walked around, shaking his head. He felt that it was not reliable. Could this method really kill Fang Yuan? Thinking about how he failed to kill Fang Yuan even with all the southern border righteous path forces. Thinking about how Heavenly Court failed to capture him after multiple attempts. Could the southern border righteous path really succeed this time? Wu Yong shook his head. He admitted that he was quite wary of Fang Yuan now. This demon's strength improved by leaps and bounds whenever he appeared, he could not be looked at with logic. And also, Wu Yong was not confident in southern border's righteous path. Wu clan was the leader of southern border's righteous path. Wu Yong had been nurtured under Wu Du Xiu's wings. How could he not see the weakness of southern border's righteous path? They all had their individual desires, they were filled with conflict and wariness. Unless they had no choice, there would not be a leader that could unify them. Even for Wu clan, even if Wu Du Xiu was around and worked with Wu Yong, they could not be an absolute leader. Wu Yong could imagine that on the day of the operation, southern border's righteous path would be very wary of each other, they would make excuses and refuse to be the first ones to act, they would want to fight for benefits. How could such a group deal with the crafty Fang Yuan? Especially now, only Qi clan was plundered by Fang Yuan, the other clans were untouched. With the turbulence of the earth veins, they had to fight for the resources underground. How could the clans spend their effort on Fang Yuan? Or rather, Fang Yuan noticed this, so he only plundered Qi clan's resources. Wu Yong's heart sank. From this angle, he really wanted Fang Yuan to go all out and aggravate all the clans. But he was simply too crafty, he only targeted one clan. If Wu Yong knew that Fang Yuan not only plundered Qi clan, he even made a deal with them secretly to plot against Heavenly Court during the 5 regions chaotic war, who knew what he would think. After walking around for a while, Wu Yong made up his mind, I should communicate with Heavenly Court, I should use them to get rid of Fang Yuan. This was quite a tough decision. Even though this was a wise choice, since the enemy of an enemy was a friend, it was taboo. The 5 regions excluding Eastern Sea had a mentality against foreigners, southern border did too. If southern border's forces and Gu immortals knew that Wu Yong was working with another region's super force to meddle in southern border's affairs, he would receive huge criticism. Even if he was Wu clan's first supreme elder, even if he had rank 8 cultivation level, he would not be exempt from it. It could be said that Wu Yong was taking a huge risk. If he was exposed, Wu clan's current advantageous position would be destroyed. Oh. Wu Yong contacted me. It must be due to the demon Fang Yuan. Fairy Ziwei was resting, seeing that Wu Yong had contacted her, she smiled as she replied. Wu Yong had a special status, he was the first supreme elder of Wu clan, even without trying to influence him, the cooperation between them was already his weakness. Both sides talked for a while, Wu Yong got to the topic of Fang Yuan. Fairy Ziwei thought, like I expected, Fang Yuan has fixed immortal travel, and because I exposed his methods in Treasure Yellow Heaven, Wu Yong is even more wary of him now, he wants to eliminate Fang Yuan despite the risks. Heavenly Court was not in good shape recently. Not long ago, they failed to achieve any of their goals in their second attack on Langyip Blessed Land. Wisdom Gu was taken by Fang Yuan, who escaped successfully. Langyip Blessed Land was guarded by Longevity Heaven, while Heavenly Court's Thunder Ghost True Monarch died. Chen Yi, Fairy Ziwei, and Feng Jiugu also suffered injuries to certain degrees, they were all recuperating now. But even so, after hearing Wu Yong's words, Fairy Ziwei agreed without hesitation. Fang Yuan needed to die. Even if he had rank 7 fixed immortal travel, there were ways to restrict this Gu. Or rather, even if they failed to kill Fang Yuan, as long as they pressured him and did not give him time to grow further, it would be a success for Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan's growth is simply too fast and too scary. And this is already with Heaven's will giving him hurdles constantly through its influence. Once in a while, he shows up with shocking improvements. Even if we fail to kill him, we must make sure he has no time to cultivate. If he gained new methods, we must expose all his trump cards. Fairy Ziwei felt deeper wariness against Fang Yuan. To pursue him, she had put in so much effort, and right now, even Langyip Blessed Land was nearly taken down by her, but Fang Yuan? He was still free and roaming around. Heavenly Court had the absolute advantage, be it Fate Gu's repair, the nurturing of Great Dream Immortal Venerable, or even the imprisonment of Spectral Soul, Fang Yuan could not match their achievements. But in the deepest part of Fairy Ziwei's heart, she started to feel fear and unease. This emotion was absurd, but she truly felt fear and unease. Fear and unease due to Fang Yuan. Southern Border's righteous path is dealing with Fang Yuan now, this is a chance. Forget my injuries, I need to go all out to kill Fang Yuan and eliminate this problem. Determination flashed in Fairy Ziwei's eyes. Southern Border's righteous path was plotting against Fang Yuan, because of Wu Yong's contact, before Heavenly Court even made a move, they were already the mastermind. Once Heavenly Court moves, they would unleash a terrifying attack. It was a pity that Fang Yuan had expected this. After the transaction with Qi Chuyu, he went into seclusion, exploring the dream realms that he had. This was a time path dream realm. Inside this dream realm, Fang Yuan was an old man, he was the main character of this dream, having rank 4 cultivation level. Right now, he was surrounded by 5 or 6 Gu masters with hostile expressions. Lord Bai Lian, this is the treatment fee in advance, please follow us. The leader Gu master also had rank 4 cultivation level, looking at Fang Yuan, he spoke threateningly. Fang Yuan first looked at the Gu worms in his aperture, they were all time path Gu worms used for support, they could not heal. Thinking about it, Fang Yuan probed, I am just an ordinary time path Gu master, I am not a doctor, aren't you making things difficult for me? The other party replied, Humph, you will go whether you want to or not. Do you dare to defy the request of our Central Continent's Meng clan? We already know everything about you, don't worry, we are asking you to go because of your abilities, we know you can heal Lord Meng Bai's illness. Come, do you need us to invite you by force? Let's go, lead the way. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly. Following these Gu masters, Fang Yuan soon arrived at Meng clan, he saw the patient Meng Bai. Only to see that this person was frail and yellow, his bones were protruding from his skinny body, he rested in bed as he grunted weakly. How did this happen? What illness is it? Fang Yuan probed. A servant started crying as he said, my master has always been healthy and strong, he sprints as fast as a wolf, to think that this would happen. He was harmed by that unscrupulous merchant. He bought a water text Gu. The merchant said that this Gu would allow him to write beautiful words that resembled flowing water. Master has always been brutish, the others have always said that he had bronze but no literary flair. Because of this, Master bought this water text Gu at a high price, wanting to write a beautiful verse that night. Is the problem regarding that water text Gu? Fang Yuan asked. The servant nodded. Initially, Master used that water text Gu with no issue. He wrote verses after verses. Master was extremely happy. He wrote 50 to 60 texts. But in the morning, before he ate, he started to have diarrhea. It poured like flowing water. He had the runs for over 20 times. Even with Master's tough body, he ended up like this after a day. Fang Yuan realized at last. He gained confidence in solving this. Water text Gu was not the problem, but overly using it caused the diarrhea. Nobody could deal with that side effect. Rushing leads to worse results. This was quite common. Using Gu carried risks. Meng Bai truly brought it upon himself. Meng Clan was right to invite me. My time path Gu worms might not be able to heal, but in this situation, they are appropriate in healing Meng Bai. Fang Yuan thought. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1596, Time Cutting Edge. Chapter 1596, Time Cutting Edge. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Fang Yuan was not a novice at exploring dream realms, he had a lot of experiences. Fang Yuan had already understood Meng Bai's dream realm at this point. I need to use the time path Gu worms in the aperture to create a time path killer move and heal Meng Bai's injuries. Meng Bai was injured from overly using water text Gu. This time path killer move must target the root cause. Even though Fang Yuan had ordinary attainment level in time path, he had Spectral Soul's true inheritance, Langya's true inheritance, and He Fan's true inheritance. Especially the final one, it was a huge help for this problem. This dream realm was testing the explorer's knowledge and ability to formulate killer moves. Of course, it was not so simple. Fang Yuan analyzed them. He found that the time path mortal Gu in this aperture were unique to this dream realm. They did not exist in real life. Fang Yuan was not surprised. This was a dream realm after all. It was different from the real world. Others, including time path great experts, would have to test their luck now. But Fang Yuan's luck was very good. However, he had a better option. Immortal killer move, Unravel Dream. This move was useless when he explored Thieving Heaven's dream realm, but now, because this dream realm was much smaller, it had an extraordinary effect. The necessary Gu worms started to float in the aperture, giving Fang Yuan the answer directly. Fang Yuan already had a blueprint in his mind. Using these Gu worms, he started to test them. After failing twice, he succeeded in the killer move. Meng Bai was saved. And with this, the dream realm was over. His soul returned to sovereign immortal body as Fang Yuan opened his eyes. He joyfully discovered that his time path attainment level had risen from ordinary to master level. But his joy did not last long. His expression suddenly changed. At the same time, immortal killer move Emperor Yama that was shielding his soul started to expand rapidly from its original state. Someone is deducing my location, they are quite proficient. Fang Yuan smiled coldly. If this was before the defensive battle of Langya Blessed Land, he would be worried. But he had Emperor Yama now. His defense against deductions made even Heavenly Court's Fairy Z Wei without options for now. As expected, after deducing for a while, the other party was unable to break Emperor Yama. They paid a huge price for nothing. Fang Yuan's Emperor Yama killer move shrunk back into a simple garment on his soul again. Fang Yuan's gaze flickered with cold light. He looked around as Emperor Yama's aura burst out in the surroundings. To play safe, he decided to leave this place immediately. Using fixed immortal travel again, it was simply too convenient to move around with this Gu. In a flash, Fang Yuan went from one side of southern border to the other side. who knew how far the distance was. Fang Yuan flew for a while before lurking in a gray valley that was filled with mist. My soul foundation is only at 30 million man soul now. Fang Yuan calculated as he sighed. Using Emperor Yama would place a burden on Fang Yuan's soul, his soul foundation would be depleted. Earlier, against that mysterious expert, Emperor Yama expended 1 million of Fang Yuan's soul foundation. The deducer was truly powerful. Long ago, Fang Yuan's soul foundation far exceeded 30 million, but in the Battle of Xianxia, he expended it greatly. And also, exploring dream realms consumed soul foundation and also caused great harm to the soul. If this was before, Fang Yuan could use his resources to raise his soul foundation again. But now, Daoist Mountain was still being repaired, it could not be used. Without Daoist Mountain to produce Daoist Gu, with just Fang Yuan's Daoist Gu in stock, they could not last long. To repair Daoist Mountain, I have been using landscape as before Immortal Gu. Event Hof Daoist Mountain has the effect of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's Orderly Well Killer move. It is just a rank 6 Immortal Gu. This task has been draining my immortal essence. Fang Yuan's immortal essence storage was drying up. His abundant storage had already been depleted by the intense battles earlier. Heavenly Court's attacks on Fang Yuan did not kill him, but they were not in vain. His foundation was deeply hit by this. The lack of immortal essence was also why Fang Yuan wanted to work with Qi Chu Yu instead of fighting. Actually, Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture had an incredible amount of time path. Resources. 1. The rate of time was rapid. His immortal essence was produced at the fastest rate in the world compared to all other rank 7 Gu immortals. But his expenditure was even greater, just him alone could not make up for the deficit. The dragonfish business was sustaining him for now. The dragonfish business was raking in huge profits. Fang Yuan used these immortal essence stones and constantly converted them into immortal essence, alleviating his problem. With the dragonfish business and my Daoist Gu storage, I can still sustain myself. When Daoist Mountain is repaired, everything will get better. With fixed immortal travel and omnidirectional travel, Fang Yuan was not afraid of people approaching him. The truth was, with Emperor Yama's protection, there was little possibility of them deducing his location quickly. Fang Yuan decided to continue exploring Time Path Dream Realms. He had left many Time Path Dream Realms in Plunder Shadow Earth Trench. After setting up a Gu formation to alert himself, he entered the dream. On a snowy mountain peak, an old man looked at Fang Yuan with his hands behind his back. "Kneel down," the old man said plainly. Fang Yuan was dazed but quickly followed the old man's words. The old man's expression turned solemn and grand. He said slowly, "From now on, I will impart upon you the strongest killer move of our clan, Time Cutting Edge. Once this is shot out, it will not miss, anyone hit by it will die. There is only hope in taking revenge on our clan's mortal enemy after you learn this move." Yes. Fang Yuan heard his words and had a feeling he was going to have huge gains in this dream realm exploration. As expected, the old man taught him the entire killer move, Time Cutting Edge. This move was very complex, much more than Fang Yuan's own creation, Miri itself. And the harder thing was, this move had a very short completion time. Hundreds of steps needed to be completed in 3 breaths of time. Otherwise, Fang Yuan would face the backlash of this killer move. 3 breaths. How can that be possible? Even Fang Yuan felt that it was impossible. However, the old man's explanation had not ended. Fang Yuan listened closely. The solution was for Fang Yuan to use another time path killer move to shorten Time Cutting Edge's activation time to 3 breaths, that would allow him to use it. If other paths uses time path methods to accelerate their killer moves, they would be adding fuel to the fire, the effect would backfire and the move would fail, resulting in a backlash. But Time Cutting Edge was a time path killer move to begin with. When using other time path killer moves, there would be no conflict, instead they complemented each other. Thus, rather than Time Cutting Edge itself, Fang Yuan started to learn the supplementary killer move, Shrink Time. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1597, Time Path Grandmaster. Chapter 1597, Time Path Grandmaster. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Time Path Dream Realm. Fang Yuan turned into a young-looking rank 6 Gu immortal, his eyes were shut as his body was covered in specks of white light. As the number of white lights increased, Fang Yuan's aura became denser and more stable. Suddenly, his body shook, his aura became chaotic, it was like a tall building collapsing into the abyss. Guh. Fang Yuan opened his mouth, spitting out a mouthful of blood. I failed again. He opened his eyes, bright light shining within. He had already failed to activate Shrink Time 3 times, this was a rank 6 killer move used to supplement time cutting edge. With 3 consecutive failures, Fang Yuan's soul foundation fell with each injury, his 30 million man soul had fallen to 29,600,000. This was not Thieving Heaven's dream realm after all, the soul foundation loss in Thieving Heaven's dream realm was too absurd. Fang Yuan did not feel discouraged, his gaze flickered as fighting spirit rose in him. Ignoring the rest, just Shrink Time itself was very valuable. It was not only useful for time cutting edge, he could supplement it for other time path killer moves. The exploration failed, Fang Yuan's soul left the dream realm, returning to heal in the sovereign immortal body. Guts Gu. Fang Yuan took out a Guts Gu and used it. Earlier, he had an abundant supply, but now, he had to use them wisely. He did not have many Guts Gu, Fang Yuan planned to use them for the healing of his soul. Therefore, he could only stop his soul path cultivation. The truth was, not only would Fang Yuan's soul foundation remain stagnant, as he explored more dream realms later, it would continue to fall. This was something to be expected, there was no helping it. Soul path cultivation was no longer his priority, he needed to head into the river of time and obtain Red Lotus true inheritance, that was the most logical plan. Fang Yuan needed to go soon. Firstly, the longer he waited, the more problems that would arise. His enemy was Heavenly Court, which had a deep foundation, they might have another great expert awakening at any time. Heavenly Court also had traps set in the river of time, the more time passed, the more traps there would be. Secondly, Fang Yuan was placing his hope on Red Lotus true inheritance to resist Heavenly Court and preventing Fate Immortal Gu from being repaired. This had the greatest chance of success now. But in the worst case scenario that Red Lotus true inheritance could not help him, he had to make other plans. Thus, the earlier Fang Yuan obtained Red Lotus true inheritance, the more time he had to deal with the future. As for his soul path cultivation becoming stagnant or falling, or even the lack of immortal essence, Fang Yuan did not care. Of course, he was not ignoring them, he already had the way to settle them. Once Dang Hun Mountain was repaired, everything would be in order again. Other than this method, Fang Yuan had no way of resolving these problems now. Currently, Dang Hun Mountain was about 30 to 40% restored, but the soul path Dao marks had not reached a qualitative change yet, it could not produce Guts Gu. After resting his soul, Fang Yuan entered the dream realm again. This time, he finally succeeded in activating Shrink Time. The first 3 failures were not for nothing, each failure led Fang Yuan closer to success. Fang Yuan finally grasped the killer move Shrink Time. Of course, the Shrink Time obtained in the dream realm might not be usable in the real world. After all, dreams and reality were different. Fang Yuan was clear in his mind, the content of Shrink Time was accurate. Even if there were differences, with the light of wisdom, he could spend some time to create a version usable in real life. At this point, this stage of the dream realm has been cleared, the entire cultivation area faded from Fang Yuan's view. His time path attainment started to rise rapidly before stopping. I am still a time path master. But, compared to before, it has risen a bit, I am approaching Grandmaster. In the second stage of the dream realm, Fang Yuan started to practice time cutting edge. This move was even more difficult and complex than Myriad Self back then. Fang Yuan focused his mind and practiced. He soon felt his head spinning, thoughts were expended rapidly in his mind, it was like a dried pond. Fang Yuan was very patient, he practiced the contents continuously over and over again, moving towards the path of success. While practicing, he got injured again. After leaving the dream realm and going back to his body, Fang Yuan was shocked to find out that not only did his soul foundation fall from this injury, his lifespan was also shaved off to some extent. Getting injured in this dream realm will expend lifespan. Fang Yuan's heart jumped, this was a new discovery. But thankfully, he had a lot of lifespan Gu now, there was no issue. Of course, other Gu immortals would think differently. Just like this, after a while, Fang Yuan got injured 4 times before he finally managed to use time cutting edge in the dream realm. Just once was enough, this was not reality after all, the dream realm collapsed as Fang Yuan entered the 3rd stage. The old man appeared again, after 6 years, you finally learned time cutting edge, not bad. But we will have to test it in battle first. Fang Yuan cupped his fists, please arrange it. The old man laughed, rank 7 Gu immortally Xian is that person's right-hand man, there is chaos in the south due to ancient desolate beasts, he is there to suppress them, go kill him. Fang Yuan frowned slightly, he only had rank 6 cultivation level under this identity, without deep foundations, how could he kill a rank 7? The only advantage was his killer move time cutting edge. Before Fang Yuan could think anymore, the dream changed, the surroundings were covered in flames. A person stood in the sea of fire, looking at Fang Yuan with his triangular eyes, so you are a lingering member of Bo clan, die. Saying so, dark red flames surged towards Fang Yuan like a huge wave. Fang Yuan quickly retreated, at the crucial moment, he activated the time path Immortal Gu in his immortal aperture. At the next moment, the flames engulfed him. Fang Yuan died in battle. The dream realm exploration failed, Fang Yuan moved his injured soul back into his body. This dream realm was quite ridiculous. The battle started immediately, Fang Yuan had no time to react. Furthermore, other than time cutting edge, I can only use the other time path Immortal Gu without formulating any killer moves. Fang Yuan was quite vexed. These time path Immortal Gu were all rank 6, when used alone, how could they match the rank 7 Gu immortally Xian? And his dark red flame killer move was clearly rank 7. It seems that I can only counter offense with offense and use time cutting edge against him. Fang Yuan made up his mind after a moment. If this was real life, Fang Yuan would fight cautiously. But the dream realm was a different case. After a while, Fang Yuan entered the dream realm. Dark red flames came at him, but Fang Yuan did not dodge, he used immortal killer move time cutting edge. A thin blade formed instantly. The flying blade shot out with the flash of a sharp light. What is this killer move? Li Xian had a shocked expression as he fell, the dark red flames surged and burned him to a crisp. Fang Yuan was deeply shocked. This move is amazing. It could easily kill a rank 7, even though this Li Xian was covered in defensive methods. Even in the dream realm it is so powerful, it seems it is not weak in real life either. With Li Xian's death, the dream realm dissipated. The 3rd stage of the dream was passed, Fang Yuan became a time path grandmaster. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1598, Forget. Chapter 1598, Forget. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. The dream realm reached the 4th stage. I killed Li Xian. Fang Yuan said. The old man stood in front of Fang Yuan, nodding, it seems that you are already proficient in time cutting edge. But you only learned the rank 6 version of time cutting edge. I will impart you the rank 7 version now, listen carefully. Fang Yuan focused his mind and memorized it. The rank 7 killer move was many times more complex than the rank 6 version. Fang Yuan got a headache from just listening to the steps. This was the most complex killer move he had ever heard of. There was no competition. After imparting him the killer move, the old man said to Fang Yuan before leaving, "After you succeed in learning this rank 7 killer move, come find me." Fang Yuan was left alone in the dream realm. "It seems that the 4th stage still wants me to practice the killer move." Fang Yuan pondered. Having understood this, he started to work, practicing laboriously in the dream realm. Even though the killer move was complex and difficult to master, Fang Yuan had lots of patience. His personality had already been tempered into a piece of black steel by his previous life and the toying of fate. He was extremely firm and determined. These small setbacks would not make him dejected or feel like giving up. While Fang Yuan explored the dream realm and practiced his killer move, inside the sovereign immortal aperture, Fang Yuan's time path clone was sitting in front of Wisdom Gu, using the light of wisdom to make deductions. Next, he opened his eyes, muttering, "The formation's deduction has reached a certain point. Next, I will move on to time cutting edge." It was actually quite strange. This killer move, time cutting edge, had exceptional power. Why was it not recorded inside Spectral Soul's true inheritance? After all, this time path dream realm came from Spectral Soul himself. Normally speaking, time cutting edge should be recorded inside Spectral Soul's true inheritance. But in fact, Fang Yuan's true inheritance of Spectral Soul did not have such content. "We have not deduced Fang Yuan's location yet," Xia clan's first supreme elder said with a grim expression. In front of her, a group of southern border Gu immortals fell into silence. They all had ugly expressions. Because Fang Yuan destroyed Plunder Shadow Earth Trench and took away all the dream realms earlier, Southern Border's righteous path gathered together and sent out their people, forming a group of specialized individuals to track Fang Yuan. The leader of this group was Xia clan's first supreme elder, Xianxia. Xianxia had white hair and wrinkles on her face. Even though she was old, she had a grand disposition. Her gaze swept across the crowd as she dominated everyone with her aura. The southern border immortals lowered their heads. Who did not want to find Fang Yuan? But he had Emperor Yama protecting him. Even Heavenly Court's wisdom path great expert Fairy Ziwei was without options against him, not to mention this hastily gathered group of southern border Gu immortals. Of course, Southern Border's righteous path had deep foundations. They were not to be underestimated. These people were not completely incapable of finding out Fang Yuan's location. They just needed more clues, like when Fang Yuan appears again to attack another resource point. With sufficient clues, there was a possibility that these people could use their various methods and cooperate to unravel Emperor Yama. Emperor Yama was strong, but if it remained the same over time, as deductions piled up, it would eventually be broken. Xianxia knew this too. This damned Fang Yuan, after plundering Plunder Shadow Earth Trench, he vanished into thin air. Xianxia felt pressured. As long as Fang Yuan was still alive, as leader of this expedition, her reputation would continue to plummet. If it got serious, the whole of Xia clan would suffer too. This demon Fang Yuan, he is hiding in seclusion. He must be exploring dream realms and gaining benefits. We must eliminate him fast, otherwise, he will get much stronger again. Xianxia said eerily, "Everyone, if you have any trump cards, use them. I swear on my name that I will compensate you all fairly." The southern border immortals looked around at each other. They did not move. Xianxia felt increasingly disappointed. Her gaze swept across the people and stopped at one person. "Lu Hao, I wonder what brilliant method you have." Lu Hao was slightly stunned. He had a tall body, he wore a green robe and had a goatee. His face was yellow. He was the representative of Wu clan. Because of the turmoil earlier, many of Wu clan's Gu immortals had been sacrificed, thus they recruited a lot of outside Gu immortals recently as their external supreme elders. Lu Hao was one of them. But the truth was, he was a central continent Gu immortal, a spy sent by Fairy Ziwei, arranged by Wu Yong as a southern border righteous path member. Xianxia was familiar with the other Gu immortals except Lu Hao. On the surface, he was a secluded cultivator and did not have much reputation. Lu Hao reacted in time and smiled bitterly. I am ashamed. I cannot do anything about this, our information is severely lacking, especially clues connected to Fang Yuan. In my opinion, we are not weak, the problem is that we have nothing to work with. Indeed, indeed. Lu Hao is correct. Lu Hao's words resonated with everyone present. Xianxia was slightly disappointed, but she did not suspect Lu Hao of lying. After all, Wu clan and Fang Yuan had deep enmity between them. What do we do now? Do we continue waiting? If Fang Yuan does not show up, will we do nothing but wait for him to appear? Xianxia thought about this and felt a headache coming. But at this time, an unknown voice suddenly spoke around them. I can help in this matter. Who is it? The immortals were shocked, even Xianxia stood up as her eyes shined brightly, she stared hard. An unknown Gu immortal with a muscular body and conical hat suddenly appeared in the immortal formation. If he did not speak, nobody would have noticed. Who are you? Southern Border's immortals were all prepared to fight, the atmosphere was extremely tense. Wait, you are. The expression of Tai clan's representative changed as he stopped the immortals. That's right, I am Lu Wei-yin. The person said plainly with a smile. Dream Realm. The old man nodded with satisfaction and a bit of shock. Rank 7 time cutting edge, you mastered it as well. Fang Yuan had a plain expression, cupping his fists. I did not disappoint you. The old man nodded. It seems that you are talented in this aspect. Very good, our clan's revenge can finally see some hope. But I have some things to tell you. Please tell me. First. The old man raised his right index finger. Rank 6 time cutting edge can kill rank 7, but rank 7 time cutting edge cannot kill rank 8 Gu immortals. Rank 7 and 8 are too different in strength. Thus, even if you mastered time cutting edge, do not seek the enemy for revenge yet. You are only rank 6 now, you will only be courting death. Second. The old man raised his right middle finger. You only have rank 6 cultivation level, using rank 7 time cutting edge is quite difficult. You need to raise your cultivation level to rank 7 or even rank 8. When you raise your cultivation level, you will be able to learn rank 8 time cutting edge. With a rank 8 killer move, you would be able to take revenge, but before that, you need to endure. And third. The old man raised his fourth finger. Time cutting edge is an extreme move, it has incredible power but the drawback is huge. The higher the rank, the stronger the drawback. You must have realized it now, right? That's right, time cutting edge will remove your memories related to it. The more you use it, the more you forget. One day, you will forget me, the enemy, and even this killer move itself. Thus, before you lose too many memories, you need to control yourself and not use this move excessively. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1599, Tribulation and Divine Technique. Chapter 1599, Tribulation and Divine Technique. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Southern Border. The sovereign immortal aperture had already been placed, the entrance was open and swallowed a vast amount of heaven and earth chi. Swoosh swoosh. The turbulent heaven and earth chi approached grandly. If anyone saw this, they would be deeply shocked. No blessed land had ever been able to absorb so much heaven and earth chi at once. Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal body was near the entrance, watching the heaven and earth chi flow in. Because it was too dense, the chi could be seen like moving fog or clouds. Absorb more, take in everything you need. Fang Yuan smiled, he could tell that the sovereign immortal aperture was very hungry. City Well, Reverse Flow River, and Luopa Valley, even though the three secluded domains of heaven and earth were unique and amazing, they caused a huge burden on the blessed land. The expenditure of heaven and earth chi was intense. From time to time, Fang Yuan had to absorb heaven and earth chi from the outside world to replenish them. And this is before Dang Hun Mountain gets repaired. After it is restored, the amount of heaven and earth chi needed will be even higher. From this aspect, the destruction of Dang Hun Mountain had a tiny bit of benefit to Fong Yuan. Of course, the biggest reason was that sovereign blessed land had a lot of resources. It was like a huge foundation that could handle the weight of 4 secluded domains of heaven and earth. Ordinary blessed lands could not sustain 2 of them at once. Placing his immortal aperture and opening the immortal aperture's entrance had several drawbacks to Fong Yuan. At this moment, because the inside and outside were connected, when he absorbed heaven and earth chi, Fong Yuan's location would be exposed to heaven's will. And if any Gu immortal tried to make deductions on him, the difficulty of defending himself would be many times higher. Thus, Fong Yuan had been buying immortal materials and turning them into heaven and earth chi to replenish his immortal aperture. But recently, his focus was on repairing Dang Hun Mountain. He started lacking funds, he could not buy them anymore, so he had to place his immortal aperture to absorb heaven and earth chi. The sovereign immortal aperture was definitely a big eater. It needed dozens or even hundreds of times of heaven and earth chi as ordinary blessed lands. The sovereign immortal aperture had its fill, but heaven and earth chi continued to pour in unceasingly. This phenomenon did not shock Fong Yuan, because he knew that this time was different, his tribulation was coming. Fong Yuan was a rank 7 Gu immortal. He faced an earthly calamity every 10 years, a heavenly tribulation every 50 years, and a grand tribulation every 100 years. Ever since Fong Yuan used his time path methods to modify the sovereign immortal aperture's rate of time to its quickest, his calamities and tribulations had been coming at a rapid rate. This was an earthly calamity. But be they earthly calamity or heavenly tribulation, they were not a problem for Fong Yuan, especially when he had the killer move exposing Heavenly Secret. This move used Heavenly Secret Immortal Gu as the core with supplementary Gu worms to allow Fong Yuan to deduce the contents of upcoming calamities and tribulations. Thus, before this earthly calamity even formed, Fong Yuan already knew what it was. As expected, the calamities and tribulations formed like how Fong Yuan had predicted. Earth chi continued to rumble under Fong Yuan's feet, forming into huge yellow spirals. Heaven chi rumbled in the sky, booming as green lightning in the sky continued to flicker. Screech, screech, screech. With a chain of shrill noises that could burst eardrums, terrifying statues emerged from the center of the yellow spiral. These giant statues were 10 meters tall, they were muscular and had sharp teeth that protruded out of their faces. Suddenly, they opened their red eyes as the purple bat wings on their backs expanded, they flew up and charged at Fong Yuan. Yellow Spring Ghost Martial Statues. Fong Yuan floated in the sky, his arms were behind his back as he looked at these statues calmly. He was very relaxed, he could even look at the sky during this critical moment when the enemy approached. In the sky, the green lightning split apart the cloud layer, countless statues that resembled the Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues appeared. The Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues bore their fangs and claws, but these statues were very orderly like a group of troops, they had solemn expressions and huge bodies, there were eagle wings on their backs. Green Lightning Divine Martial Statues. Fong Yuan smiled in his mind, recognizing the second type of statue. At this moment, the Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues had already reached Fong Yuan, they slashed their claws and opened their mouths, biting at Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan did not move, ripples appeared on his body. It was the famous creation of Fong Yuan, Immortal Killer Move, Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Be they the Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues or Green Lightning Divine Martial statues, their attacks were all reflected back and injured themselves. Fong Yuan was completely unharmed and could not be defeated. Begone. Fong Yuan waved his hand, Immortal Killer Move Myriad Dragon burst out, within the sea of silver scales, myriad dragons flew and attacked endlessly. Even though there were many Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues and Green Lightning Divine Martial statues produced by the Heaven and Earth Chi, how could they match Fong Yuan's myriad dragon? At the start, they could still resist, but soon, they were engulfed by the myriad dragon army, losing their numbers rapidly. The Heaven and Earth Chi were scattered by the myriad dragons, even though Heaven's will was unresigned and sought to try again, the next wave of myriad dragon destroyed the gathering Heaven and Earth Chi again. A moment later, the calamity was over, the immortal aperture's entrance closed, the sovereign immortal aperture became peaceful again as the turbulence ended. Fang Yuan nodded to himself and concluded, this earthly calamity only had the yellow spring ghost martial statues originally, but changed because I did not go through the previous earthly calamity, instead using the immortal killer move Endless Trouble to delay it. Immortal killer move Endless Trouble was among the contents of He Fan's true inheritance. It could delay the current tribulation until the next time, and undergo both tribulations together. The weakness was that it would anger heaven's will, the following calamities and tribulations would increase greatly in strength. Heaven's will was trying to suppress Fang Yuan and prevent his cultivation level from advancing. It intentionally made his calamities and tribulations as weak as possible so he could gain few Dao marks. In this situation, the weakness of Endless Trouble was actually advantageous to Fang Yuan. Thus, Fang Yuan used this killer move to undergo 2 tribulations together. He could gain Dao marks and heaven's will could not stop him. Yellow spring ghost martial statues were the earthly calamity, while green lightning divine martial statues were on the level of heavenly tribulation. This time, I gained quite a few Dao marks. Fang Yuan inspected it, his soul path and transformation path Dao marks had increased. These were both useful to Fang Yuan. Of course, he needed time path Dao marks the most. The sovereign immortal aperture had a huge space. Fang Yuan intentionally chose an empty area to undergo tribulation. Even if heaven's will wanted to destroy anything, it had no target. Even though the calamity was over, Fang Yuan's body remained here. He started to activate heaven's will dissipation, only stopping after he confirmed that the remaining heaven's will was cleansed away. When Fang Yuan's main body underwent tribulation, his time path clone had been staying with Wisdom Gu, deducing immortal killer moves continuously. Previously, Fang Yuan successfully explored the dream realm, his time path attainment level rose drastically to Grandmaster level. With this attainment level, he was very successful in deducing time path killer moves. Actually, Fang Yuan's main body had many time path killer moves. Spectral Soul's true inheritance had many, followed by He Fan's true inheritance and Xianxia sect. In theory, Fang Yuan with refinement path quasi-supreme attainment could deduce and modify these immortal killer moves. But for Fang Yuan, He Fan's true inheritance was his main consideration. Because his time path immortal Gu were mostly from He Fan's true inheritance. For example, rank 8 years flow like water, rank 7 year Gu and after immortal Gu. The remaining time path immortal Gu were all rank 6. Most were left behind from graceful chaotic dual stage, and Fang Yuan also had day immortal Gu. The time path clone's main job was to use He Fan's true inheritance as the foundation along with other immortal killer moves and time path immortal Gu recipes to deduce the most appropriate time path methods for Fang Yuan. Even though not long had passed, the time path clone was extremely efficient. Currently, Fang Yuan had an entire set of time path methods, covering offense, defense, movement, and healing. He just needed to spend some time practicing them and he could easily grasp them. But this is not enough. The time path clone opened his eyes, sighing. The light of wisdom faded away as Wisdom Gu flew away slowly. The time path clone went to an empty area to experiment on the killer move. Immortal killer move, time cutting edge. A flying blade tore through the sky, instantly vanishing with shocking speed. But the time path clone's blood flowed out of his mouth as he shook his head, greatly disappointed. I deduced rank 7 time path methods that are suitable for me. But in the river of time, when searching for Red Lotus true inheritance and facing the obstruction of Heavenly Court, I will need to have rank 8 time path methods. He Fan's true inheritance had rank 8 defensive killer moves that used years flow like water immortal Gu as the core. But it did not have rank 8 offensive methods. In He Fan's case, he only obtained years flow like water in his later years. With limited time, deducing rank 8 defensive methods were already not easy. He had rank 8 level Dao marks, rank 7 offenses were enough for him. Of course, most importantly, he solely had years flow like water. He could either use it to attack or defend himself at one point in time. Defense was naturally more important than offense, especially for a righteous path member. And time cutting edge is very extraordinary. Even though rank 7 time cutting edge cannot kill rank 8 experts, it can harm them. It is a pity that after modifying it, the power is far lower than the original, and the backlash is heavier. Feng Yuan was not unfamiliar with this situation. Like how he had created myriad self-immortal Gu's recipe, because of his refinement path quasi-supreme attainment level, he had modified it to its limits. Any minor adjustment would be detrimental and make it worse than before. Feng Yuan's modification of time cutting edge was similar. It seems that the complete time cutting edge killer move is a rank 9 killer move. Like how Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's immortal killer move Orderly Well was also rank 9 and could not be modified further. Even though Feng Yuan only obtained the rank 6 and 7 time cutting edge, even the incomplete versions could not be modified. After forcefully changing the content, the disadvantages far outweighed the advantages. Furthermore, with Feng Yuan's deductions, time cutting edge's memory loss effect was not simple. It was not as plain as the old man had described it. The memories lost were not just about the move, but everything related to the move. Any information related to this move, be it memories or records in information path Gu worms, even carvings on stones would be erased from the river of time as this move got used continuously. Spectral Soul must have obtained time cutting edge in the past, but because he used it often, all of the information that he had regarding time cutting edge was erased from the river of time, therefore, it was not inside Spectral Soul's true inheritance. Of course, there is a possibility that Spectral Soul's true inheritance is not complete. Shadow Sect still kept a small portion of it including this hidden from me, but that is very unlikely. Regardless, I am sure of something, this time cutting edge is truly a divine technique. If I can grasp it, I will have more confidence in the river of time, my chances will rise by 20%. A day later. This is it. Lu Wei-yin half knelt on the ground as he placed his palm down, sensing the changes in the earth chi. Next, several figures descended from the sky and landed behind Lu Wei-yin. They were led by an old woman, the rank 8 time path great expert, Xia clan's first supreme elder, Xianxia. Feng Yuan placed his aperture here and absorbed the heaven and earth chi. In fact, he went through a tribulation here. Lu Wei-yin said with deep certainty. Xiaxia's eyes flashed brightly. Lu Wei-yin was indeed Paradise Earth's inheritor, his earth path methods were profound to this extent. The Gu immortals behind them started to converse. With Lord Lu Wei-yin here, we will be able to find Feng Yuan. Feng Yuan has many secluded domains of heaven and earth, the burden of heaven and earth chi is huge, with such a clue, we will definitely find him. Don't you all find it strange? He has fixed immortal travel, why is he staying in southern border? Why not go to eastern sea or western desert, aren't those places safer? Humph, he is already wanted by everyone, nobody can tolerate him, nowhere is safe. This demon is too vicious, he is likely staying in southern border because he wants to rob our resources, especially the dream realms in Tian Mountain, we cannot let them go unguarded. Kill, we need to kill this demon before we can rest at ease. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1600, Ambush, Reverse Scheme. Chapter 1600, Ambush, Reverse Scheme. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. In Treasure Yellow Heaven, the higher the value of items, the taller and brighter the treasure light. At this stall, the treasure light had been consistently tall and bright, it was like a torch compared to the other stalls. Southern Border Gu Immortal Tai Chu Zhong's divine sense was moving around this stall. I want 3,000 copper dragonfish. After hesitating for a moment, Tai Chu Zhong added, and 200 silver dragonfish. The transaction was completed quickly. Tai Chu Zhong paid a hefty amount of immortal essence stones for them. When he withdrew his divine sense and flew around southern border's sky with his main body, his vision was obscured by clouds. Tai Chu Zhong's worry had dissipated. With these dragonfish, my rank 7 edge Gu can be fed for now. However, dragonfish is only a temporary replacement item. To solve this problem, I need to be self-sufficient and create the white steel extract resource point in my immortal aperture. White steel was a rank 6 immortal material, one of the earth vein essences. White steel extract was a rank 7 immortal material. Often, there would only be a small bowl of white steel extract from a huge piece of white steel. Tai Chu Zhong wanted to create a resource point to produce white steel extract, but it was a huge project to start with. If he could not solve the problem, purchasing dragonfish to feed his rank 7 edge Gu time and time again would incur huge costs. He would be making a loss. When Gu immortals cultivate, they do not just fight. Resource management was also of utmost importance, occasionally even more than fighting. Thinking of the white steel extract, Tai Chu Zhong's gaze turned to his right. There was Gu immortal moving with him hundreds of steps away. Shang Hu Zhang. Tai Chu Zhong transmitted. The Shang clan Gu immortal immediately replied with a nervous expression, "Have you found traces of that demon Fang Yuan?" It turned out that the two rank 7 Gu immortals, Tai Chu Zhong and Shang Hu Zhang, were members deployed by Southern Border's righteous path to hunt down Fang Yuan. Because of Lu Wei Yin, the group that chased after Fang Yuan had always been consistently following his tracks, finding new clues from time to time. This time, the immortals went to the southeast of Southern Border. Due to Lu Wei Yin's suggestion, rank 8 time path Gu immortal Xianxia ordered the Gu immortals to work together and search for new clues. Shang Hu Zhang and Tai Chu Zhong were one of such pairs. Tai Chu Zhong smiled lightly. "No need to be worried, I just wanted to ask about the white steel extract." Shang Hu Zhang heard this and relaxed. He smiled too. "So you want to create a white steel extract resource point to feed your edge Gu? This is not hard. Shang clan can assist with that, but the price." Both sides negotiated for a while. Shang clan eventually fought for a price that was not too low, while Tai Chu Zhong made up his mind and gritted his teeth as he agreed. After succeeding in the transaction, Shang Hu Zhang's smile widened. He praised, "Friend Chu Zhong, you want to create the resource point, it is truly wise. Even though the investment is expensive, in the long term, it will save you a huge amount. Indeed, like how I bought dragonfish this time to replace a portion of the white steel extract, if I do this every time, the expenditure is huge." Tai Chu Zhong sighed. Shang Hu Zhang's gaze suddenly flickered. "Dragonfish. To speak the truth, our Shang clan has a dragonfish stall in Treasure Yellow Heaven too. Not only do we sell ordinary dragonfish, we also have copper dragonfish. Sigh, friend, you should have told me earlier, I would be able to give you discounts." Tai Chu Zhong chuckled. "Shang clan is also in the dragonfish business. Our Shang clan is interested in any kind of business. Friend Tai Chu Zhong, you also know that the biggest seller of dragonfish now is Fang Yuan. Come, I'll introduce you to the stall. It is run by one of us. Trading with outsiders will lead to their growth after all." Shang Hu Zhang said with an earnest tone. Tai Chu Zhong had to thank him profusely, but he felt unmoved on the inside. Even though Shang clan gave discounts, the price of the dragonfish was still quite high. And this stall only sold copper dragonfish. There were no silver dragonfish here. Fang Yuan killed Qin Bai He and Yuchan, obtaining the #1 spot in the dragonfish business. Fairy Ziwei obviously knew about this. She had exposed Fang Yuan's information in Treasure Yellow Heaven earlier. Other than Great Thief Ghost Hand and other methods, the dragonfish business was also exposed. Thus, the Gu immortals of the entire world knew that Fang Yuan was the current #1 seller of the dragonfish business in Treasure Yellow Heaven. And naturally, he attracted the envy and jealousy of these Gu immortals. There was naturally an impact dealt, but the actual loss to his dragonfish business profits were marginal and inconsequential. Copper dragonfish had already been replicated, but the cost of production was much higher than Fang Yuan. This made his competitors' copper dragonfish much more expensive and unable to compete with Fang Yuan. Other than that, silver dragonfish was exclusive to Fang Yuan. Currently, Gu immortals interested in the dragonfish business could not create it yet. This was a huge advantage for Fang Yuan. With these two elements, Fang Yuan's #1 spot in the dragonfish business could not be taken away. Of course, Fang Yuan was not going to sell dragonfish using just one identity. He opened many stalls and created the scene of many Gu immortals replicating his silver dragonfish, selling these for huge profits every day. But even so, my immortal essence stones are dwindling rapidly. Fang Yuan sighed. Repairing Dang Hun Mountain used a lot of immortal essence, and immortal essence was converted from immortal essence stones. Fang Yuan's huge expenditure was far beyond his immortal aperture's production speed. However, the good news was that due to his full investment, Dang Hun Mountain was now 60% repaired, the soul path Dao marks reached a qualitative change and could now produce Guts Gu again. But the production of Guts Gu was terribly little. Fang Yuan needed to continue repairing Dang Hun Mountain. Dragonfish business has too much profits. Not only would many forces and Gu immortals interfere, Heavenly Court would definitely try to suppress me. But currently, silver dragonfish is too hard to create, while ordinary dragonfish, iron dragonfish, and copper dragonfish have expensive methods of production that cannot match mine. In time, Fang Yuan's advantage would continue to dwindle, especially after Heavenly Court obtains Spectral Soul's food path inheritance from soul searching. His dragonfish business would definitely face a huge challenge. Fang Yuan knew this. He needed new sources of income. The dragonfish business would not last long while Guts Gu was exposed already, even though it was a monopoly, because the plans in Green Ghost Desert was halted. Fang Yuan lacked souls to mass-produce Guts Gu. Even though Fang Yuan had started his preparation, like the snow monsters and spirit snakes, these were not very profitable businesses. Especially when Fang Yuan planned to refine Time Path Immortal Gu. Time Cutting Edge needed specific Time Path Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan thought about it and decided to give it a try. After all, the original Time Cutting Edge had incredible attack power and prospects. Fang Yuan did not want to give up. Oh. At this moment, Fang Yuan's expression changed. At the next moment, Southern Border's Gu immortals appeared around him, encircling him. The leader was an old woman. It was the Time Path Rank 8 Gu immortal Xianxia. She smiled coldly at Fang Yuan. Scoundrel Fang Yuan, you have finally fallen into my hands. Lord Lu Wei-yin is truly incredible. We found this demon at last. Shang Huzhang laughed loudly. Kill this demon and eliminate all future threats. Tai Chu Zhong said loudly with deep killing intent. Heavenly Court spy Lu Hao had a grim expression. Fixed space immortal Gu was ready to activate in his immortal aperture. This Gu could counter fixed immortal travel and prevent it from being used in a certain area. Lu Wei-yin was silent. He wore his conical hat that covered his expression entirely. Fang Yuan laughed instead. You guys are too slow, but you came after all. My planning was not in vain. Southern Border's immortals were originally very excited, but upon hearing this, the atmosphere changed. Xianxia squinted as cold light flashed in her eyes. Humph, little scoundrel, you still want to deceive us when you are going to die. That's right, he must be putting up a front. Lady Xianxia has acted personally to conceal our traces. Someone shouted. Fang Yuan smiled. Of course I did not sense your presence, however, I could sense your deductions. Why do you think I purposely stayed in Southern Border, leaving behind clues and allowing you to make deductions on me? At the next moment, there was a loud sound as a formation activated. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.